basic framing and composition techniques. In this video, you're going to learn the same techniques that professionals still use today to get better quality of photos and videos. So let's get started. Now let's talk about the basics. First, rule of thirds. Now this is a very common technique used in every video or photo taken. In most cameras or phones, you can find the rule of third grid in your settings. It has two vertical lines and two horizontal lines that intersect to create focal points. And these focal points are the key points that help you make sure you get a great looking shot in your photos or videos. Just think of these lines as a grid or a guide to help you get better shots. You can see the rule of thirds being used in interviews or documentary films quite often. Now I know you've seen some movies where you've seen this type of shot, which is called symmetry. Symmetry is a very cool framing where you're showing an equal balance in your shot, which you can see being used by director Wes Anderson. So these shots work because in the human eye, we enjoy that for some weird reason. We like balance. Now this leads us to the next part of the video. And we're going to talk about leading lines, which is straightforward how it sounds. Leading lines are basically focus points where you want your viewer to look at. You're telling your viewers, look here, this is where I want you to focus on. Remember, leading lines should give your audience a clear visual of what they should be looking at. So don't overthink it and keep it simple. So let's talk about things to keep in mind for you to make sure you're getting a good shot. For starters, make sure you got headroom down in your shot. And headroom is giving the top of your subject's head a little bit of space in your frame. Because otherwise, you'll have shots like this where it's not appealing as it should be. Now when it comes to close-up shots, this is okay, but be careful of how close you are in your shot. You don't want to get too close where your shot becomes out of frame and looks weird. Another point I like to make is giving your subject some lead room. Lead room is giving your subject space in your shot. So that includes walking towards something or just going through an interview and you give them some room to look at. In this example here, we have a surfer looking out to the ocean. But if I pause the frame and move them a little bit more to the right, you can see now we're focusing on empty space, which doesn't help us tell the story of what's going on, and that leads to confusing the viewers in the process. Okay, so now we're coming around to the end of our video. So let's talk about the different types of shots you'll be using. If you haven't noticed, in the photo and video world, there are different types of shots used to tell a story, and we're going to break down the basics. For starters, we have the full frame shot. These are used to capture your subject in a full body frame. You can see these shots being used in music, dance videos, or in action happening in your shot, like a kung fu movie. Next, we have the medium shot. The medium shot is from the upper part of the stomach and up. These are great shots for photos or even trying to capture a moment or expression in your subject in videos. The close-up shot is a very common shot that focuses more closely around the face. These are commonly used to capture the expression or emotions of your subject in your shots. Here we have the wide shot. The wide shot helps you establish a location in your story or get a better view of what your subject is doing in your shot. These are great for helping you tell the story in your videos or photos. They also help show some action going on in the background to complement the subject in your shot, aka the foreground. Now let's talk about two extreme shots. In the first one, we have the extreme close-up shot, where the shot is focused directly on the eyeball, giving more dramatic or intense feeling in your story. Finally, we have the extreme wide shot, which is a shot that pretty much is what it sounds like, capturing a very wide view like a city. These type of shots you usually see in movies to help establish location or even time of the shot is taking place. Alright, that's all the time I have for now. See you next time.